Nice to meet you, Lior.
Nice to meet you, Harry. And thanks for your time today. Probably you are a busy man these days. So really, the first topic I want to touch is COVID-19 actually changed the way we all communicate with families, with friends, with our colleagues, and even as Deloitte with our clients. We are all Zooming all day from a Zoom meeting to another Zoom meeting. We're not meeting people in person, but doing remote work, it's not just to install Zoom and create a meeting. So I'm curious, how did it change your day-to-day activities, managing your teams and the people you're working with? And what's your recommendation for organizations that suddenly, starting in one day to work from remote and mainly on the people managing process?
Yeah. So given sort of in the life before Corona, everybody congregated in the office, right? So you'd have a lot of accidental bump-ins, accidental meetings, etc. But you also, I believe, fundamentally, there was the flip side. You saw a lot of time being consumed in other ways. Versus now, it's like it's a very deliberate day. I have a very planned day. I don't have any interruptions. I do get occasional chat messages and occasional calls during the day. But for me, I find it better because I have a better control of my schedule, a better control of my day. I still, my to-do list at the end of the day is still longer than it was at the start of the day. So there's nothing I can do about that. But it's I find it a little less stressful in the work from home model. But then, Lior, that doesn't work for everybody because not everybody, sort of has the appropriate accommodations at their home to be able to work from there. So I think sort of as we look to the future, the next normal, I think we're going to see a hybrid model between the sort of what was life before Corona and what will be in life after Corona.
People are speaking about digital transformation for many years, and some of the companies are really there, and some organizations, specifically government, for example, from Israel, now everyone run much faster on the digital transformation journey because they want to bring services to the citizen as fast as they can. And I think the CIO play a significant role in this transformation as a business leader. He maybe used to be a technology leader like a few years ago, but now he's a real business leader that support the business transformation. So how do you see the CIO role changing in the last, let's say, 2 years, but specifically now? Like, what are the main tasks that you see that the CIO need to be there for the organization?
Yeah, I've always believed that a CIO is actually a business leader. I've always sort of taken the CIO position and made that, and sort of in my mind seen that as a business leader. The CTO is much more the technology leader, and that's why I see the two working together very closely. The CIO has always had an incredible opportunity because they can see the 360 of the company. They can see all of the internal operations from finance and HR and marketing and things like that, and sort of the sales and the transaction processing systems as well. So their perspective on things is is very unique in that they have like a full 360 of all the elements of an operational side of a company. And a couple of things I've observed over the last few weeks is that the CIO is getting elevated now, which is good. And many companies had already done that, had the CIO at the management table, but those that didn't have now elevated the CIO to be part of the management committee, which is, sort of finally people have come to the realization that every company is a tech company. They either build tech or they run on tech. So the tech leader, the CIO leader, needs to be at that table. So I think that's one thing that's changed a lot. The second thing that's changed a lot is the speed at decision making. We always talked in the past about waterfall and agile from a development methodology perspective, but now you're seeing that decisions have gone from that typical waterfall process of, what are the criteria? How do I weight the criteria? How do I rate the different solutions? Now it's more a lot of picking up the phone, talking to my peers, finding out what they're doing, and coming to a quick decision based upon the peer references and feedbacks, as opposed to doing the typical, let's try all the different solutions, let's do the analysis. And so the consequence of that is that decisions have gone dramatically faster, and companies are reacting in different ways and performing differently. So it's been rather remarkable.
Do you think that the CISO, the Chief Security Officer, will go through the same path? It's going to change from my point of view, the CISO need to be sitting on the management and be more business leader that understand the cyber risk and less technology person. Do you see the CISO changing position also, similar to the CIO?
No, because I think that sort of it's a good question. I hadn't thought about it. But I think it's much more about sort of like the chief security officer. So like thinking about all aspects of security, not just the cyber security. And so, I do think that it's a big topic at the management table. I'm not sure that it's there for every company, but if it's, I think we'll see a trend in that direction over time.
Yeah, I hope. I think at the end, cyber is one of the largest risks, especially when every organization is a tech organization. So it's bringing more cyber risk that you need to manage. And when companies are doing changes faster and faster, someone needs to keep on the gate and make sure that those changes that you must do are not bringing new cyber risk into the organization and to the business at the end of the day.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Can you share a little bit from the cyber and privacy challenges that you had in Zoom about the main changes on the platform that came in the last few months?
Sure. So, we had an incredible rise in the popularity of our platform over the period December of 2019 through April of this year. We went from 10 million daily participants to 300 million daily participants. And whilst many companies would love to do that over the course of a few years, we did that over the course of like essentially 12 weeks, which is rather phenomenal. And so the consequence of that change was that, when you look at Zoom, we were designed for the enterprise. We're designed for great organizations like your firm, like Deloitte, where you have, terrific teams of technologists who deploy the solutions, set up the standards, set up the defaults, do all the training, etc. But when you went through the rapid growth that we had, many companies didn't have time to do that training, didn't have time to do the defaults. And then we got pulled into the whole sort of consumer market as well. And then we opened up our platform through K through 12. And so we had a variety of different constituents on the platform that we previously hadn't considered. And so we pivoted the entire technology team to focus exclusively on privacy and security starting April the 1st. And so there were 5 major things that we executed on during that 90-day period. The first was we took all the security controls that were part of the platform, we bundled them together under what we call the privacy shield. So you can control things like locking the meeting, you can control who's sharing content and using chat in the meeting and so on and so forth. So that was seen as a big step up. And part of that was also to set certain defaults depending on different domains, like EDU as an example. We also changed how data was being routed and the data controls. So now as an enterprise client, you can actually select what data centers you want your meetings hosted in and what geographical region. And you can actually, through our management portal, see how your meetings traverse the Zoom network. We also did a major acquisition. We acquired, major for Zoom at least, on our first acquisition. We acquired a company in New York called Keybase, which is a team of cryptographers, and they were part of the process of putting together our end-to-end encrypted service, which I'll talk more about in a moment. We also released Zoom 5.0, which was AES 256 GCM, which is, as I'm sure you'd agree, the next highest standard from an encryption perspective. And so all of the Zoom clients are now running AES 256 GCM globally, irrespective of the platform that you're running on. The end-to-end encryption document was published on May the 22nd. It went through a variety of reviews from industry experts, law enforcement agencies, government agencies, many of our clients, etc. And we brought in external expertise to review that. And now we're busy at work. And later this month, we'll be piloting our end-to-end encrypted service with several of our clients, and we expect to have that GA by the end of August. And this end-to-end encrypted service will not just be for our paid clients, but also for the basic service, the free service as well.
Thanks for the information. I want to speak more about the entrepreneurship culture and about Israel. And first question for you, for how many years you're working on Zoom?
So I joined Zoom a little over 2 years ago. Previous to that, I was actually the CIO for KPMG US firm and CIO for Blackstone and a couple of other financial services firms before that.
Yeah, so what makes you from the big players? Why you join a small startup that no one will know that this is what's going to happen? And what was the main reasons you decided to join?
Yeah, great question. I get asked that one a lot. Well, fundamentally, Lior, it's like when I go back to sort of January of 2018 when I was talking to Eric about joining the company. Fundamentally, the need to collaborate locally, nationally, and globally was paramount then. Was paramount for years. Will be paramount in the future. It's really necessary. And there was there were solutions that sort of worked, but they didn't work really well. They weren't seamless, they weren't frictionless, they weren't reliable, they weren't easy to use, they were complicated. And we had lots of them. And so Eric's vision about Zoom was a single platform to solve all of these problems, true UCC. And when I talked to industry experts about Zoom and looked at the technology architecture with Eric, I saw here was a platform that was finally going to enable people to collaborate locally, nationally, and globally from any device, anywhere, at any time. And it's been a hell of a journey. And we're not done yet.
Yeah, I think we're just in the beginning of climbing to the place that remote work will take us. I believe it's here to stay, like working from remote, working from home, will stay with us at least in the next year or two, and will change the way that we all communicating, working.
I think this is like another 9/11 event. Will change the world forever.
Yeah.
If there is a silver lining to COVID, it's the learning that we don't need to travel. We can have a better quality of life, and here we are. In the meantime, stay healthy, and hope you and your family and your colleagues are all well. Thank you.
Thank you.